Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Julz and Gems Podcast. I am the Julz, and with me, I have a Gem. Best believe. Guys, we got a returning guest for the first returning guest. So, welcome back, LUPE, to the podcast. What's up, LUPE? How you doing?
What's going on? Thanks for having me back.
Of course, man. Of course. Not a problem, man. You want to be back, and you're back, man. Why not? Sure. You know what I mean?
I heard it was the most requested episode. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, people liked it, man. People have been really enjoying the podcast lately, and I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful. I think it's dope that people actually listen to it, and then it might not be amazing jaw-dropping numbers, but I mean, when I went into this, I wasn't really expecting anybody to listen. So once we hit double digits, I was like, yo, what's good?
Nice.
Celebrating.
Baby steps, man. Baby steps.
I mean, hopefully, maybe one day, who knows, we might get into the triple digits, but that's not why I do it, guys. That's not why I'm here. Some numbers don't matter, dude. And I'm just here to have good conversation, talking about stuff about my life and such, and just enjoy my time with some people that want to hang out. That's all this is about.
What are we talking about today, man?
All right, today I got my friend back with me. We're going to talk about passions, because I feel like we both kind of been on this journey of pursuing stuff outside of our daily jobs. You know what I mean? And whether that was because I remember you used to work at the airport, right? There's a story you told of us that you worked at the airport when you met Dave Chappelle.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct.
So during that time, were you doing music production also, right?
I was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how would you say that what was it that inspired you to go into music production?
Music production was something that I always wanted to do, and I had actually gone to school for it. I went to school for it in the early 2010s. And I learned how to do all the mixing and mastering. Not a whole lot of mastering, just a touch of mastering. But I got my partner, my business partner. He does the mastering itself. He basically does what I can't do. Those are his strengths, which we lucked out because we're the yin and the yang to each other, I'd say.
Hey, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, man.
So you do all the stuff beforehand, and then he does all the mastering. He cleans it up and all that.
Correct. So how we call it is that I'm the producer and he's the engineer.
Right.
So
right. Yeah.
I get the music first. I do my little razzle dazzle to it, and then I send it off to him, and then he puts his little razzle dazzle onto it, and then that's it.
And then it's razzle dazzling in people's ears.
And that's it. It's uploaded.
Speaking of that, I remember we promoted your track on the last time we met. How did that end up going, man? How was it to release that music video?
Yeah, man, it was good. It was fun, man. A lot of people were waiting on it. Not crazy a lot, right? I mean, just friends and family, but
yeah,
they
absolutely.
were, and so when it finally got uploaded, a lot of people were checking it out, and they were saying it was nice and stuff like that. So it's good. It's always good to hear.
Nice. Yeah, man. I showed that song to some people, and even people that were just listening to the podcast, they're like, yeah, it was a nice little track, man. I mean, we didn't actually get to, it was funny because I listened back to the podcast, and in the beginning, I'm like, yeah, we're going to definitely listen to the whole track here later, and then we never got to it. Also, that reminds me, I need to just address something real quick. Okay. Stevie actually brought it to my attention. He was like, dude, I didn't really understand why, the whole 20 years business, you never mention it in the podcast. And I'm like, wait, what? I swear we did. But then I remember that we did the first two takes that we recorded instead of the third one. So just to clear it up, the reason I called it 20 years, but who's counting? If anybody wants to go back and listen to who hasn't listened to it. I say that because we talk about we've been friends for a long, long time. Ergo, almost 20 years. We've been friends for almost 20 years. And yeah. And then but who's counting? You know what I mean? Because I wasn't. I can't math good. So I was just like, I'm going to leave the math to someone else. Anyway, that's the reason. So if Stevie ever listens to this, yeah, there you go. I said it. I cleared it up. Just, We're just making sure we're good on all sets, on all fronts.
Yes, we were wee lads when we met.
Yeah, we were pretty young, man, and I remember we were talking about stuff happening in that year, and it was just crazy, man. It kind of blew my mind. Even now, when I listen back to it, it's like, man, dude, we're pretty old, man. We're pretty old, but it's all good, man. You know, with age comes wisdom, I guess.
That's right. That's a good feeling.
Yeah.
With age comes wisdom.
With age comes wisdom. Let's just see the bright side of it. Obviously, we're here and we're having a good time. We're going to talk about passions. We were talking about LUPE in your music production. You've been in that for the longest, I would say. And you seem to be doing pretty well. I mean, that last track we heard, it was really nice stuff, man. Can't wait to hear more.
It's definitely been a learning curve. I mean, you always obviously everybody starts off somewhere, and then we just climb that mountain, get better every day.
And you said you're gonna be dropping something else this week?
Yeah, so we're gonna be dropping another music video this week. Actually, I was gonna say, so the artist that we were working with, his name is I don't think I mentioned it in the last podcast. The artist that we were working with for that song his name is Rel Cramo. Rell and then Cramo, Cramo. And actually on Spotify, I saw that one of those tracks that we produced is at 22K streams. I was like, oh my gosh, that's nice.
God, nothing like the Julz and Gems podcast.
Well, no, even still, whenever we made those songs, we didn't think that it would get to that point. Or I don't know, I guess we just didn't expect it to get to that point.
That's pretty dope, man.
Yeah, so we were excited, man.
Heck yeah. And then so whatever's coming out this week is going to be from the same artist?
Yeah, so the music video that's coming out this Friday is going to be for that song that's hit 22K. I didn't realize that was the one that was the most in demand. I'm over here doing the music video for one of the songs that was just in the album. And didn't
keep them anticipating, bro.
Yeah, so that's the one that we're going to shoot for next, and that one should be coming out Friday also.
Nice. And do you have anything to do with the music video production, or are you just like, I'm a part of it from over here, way over here?
Well, actually, due to funding, so we're not actually doing music videos where he's actually in it. These are music videos that I'm making. So I find clips and stuff like that, or I'll make some clips that look pretty cool. And then I'll just pretty much tie it all together. It's like an abstract music video. It doesn't have the artist in it, unfortunately, because we're distances apart. He lives over in Atlanta, and I live in San Antonio.
Okay. So this last video, that was just who was that in the video?
Some random guy, man. Some random guy.
Some guy you hired to come on?
No, the royalty-free videos, man. That's what I was looking at.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Dude, the whole time I thought he was the artist, and I'm like, shouldn't he be like reciting the lyrics or something? Like, he's just looking at the camera
that's what everybody says, man. Everybody's like, why is he rapping? Like all my friends and stuff. I'm like, because it's not him,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good to know. So if anybody listens to this and they watch the video, there you go. You have some clarity on it already. Before
abstract music
videos. Yeah. Okay, so let me actually get into what other stuff are you got your hands in? Because I mean, you got music production, and now I'm learning that you're into video production, music video production, which is pretty dope. And I mean, what else you got your hands into, man?
Right now, so we're managing. Well, I say I'm managing 3 pages right now. One of them is for Hero, and then the other 2 are they're comedy pages. They're just for comic relief every now and then for anybody who wants to see memes or whatever.
So a meme page,
yeah, it's a meme page. Yep, and we try to give everybody some humor every now and then. Humor is always good for the spirit.
Cool. And I saw that you started like a Spanish meme page.
Yeah, so it's so the first page that I'm handling is for Hero Records, right? It's a Hero Records page for Instagram and Facebook, and then the Cheese Mafia, which you, I, and Stevie have all came together and made a long time ago, which we should probably dabble into that story a little bit later.
Okay, we'll get into that story. That way people understand.
Yes. And so that's the meme page. And the reason why I wanted to make that one a meme page is because of the story and the background from what the Cheese Mafia was made from. And And then the other one is the other meme page is the same meme page. It's the Cheese Mafia, but it's in Spanish. La Mafia del Queso, and we're making a meme page or memes in Spanish on that one to try to hit the Latino community because I believe that humor's everywhere. That's always
it's a universal language, man.
Exactly. Yes.
Absolutely, man. So when what inspired you to do the Spanish page, or like that was just something that came to you and you were like, you know what, let's make a Spanish page, same thing, whatever.
No. Yeah, well, it was a mixture. It was that, but it was also a mixture of me listening to more Spanish music.
Right? Oh, okay, all right.
And so
right.
when I was listening to Spanish music, I was a little intrigued, right? So I'm over there like kind of digging a little bit into the like all the behind the scenes stuff, and on YouTube, this was interesting to me. On YouTube, a lot of those like reggaeton artists that are hitting big numbers, their views are some of their videos, which is of the hits, right? They're in the billions of views.
Really?
It's not millions, it's in the billions, yeah. And if you guys want to look this up, believe me, this is true. And so when I was looking at that, I was like, dude, there's almost nobody in rap that has billions of views on YouTube. There's like a handful of artists that do, but that's it.
Yeah.
And so logically, right, you're like, okay, well, they speak Spanish. Who's their target? Their target is literally everybody south of the United States, all the way down to the end of South America. So to me, that's why I was like, there's that market. So why not try to tap into that market?
Sure. And how's that going?
It's going good. It's actually taken off pretty good. I mean, we just created it less than a month ago, so
Dude.
those numbers are doing pretty solid for the first month.
Heck yeah, man. I was just curious because I seen it and I'm like, I mean, I obviously know what it is, and I was just like, wow, hey, that's an idea, like definitely. And I was just like, well, okay, let me ask, who's doing the translating of the memes, or how do you? Because I thought that you would like. For me, I don't know why. In my head, I was like, oh, he's making Spanish memes. Maybe like, I don't know, mom or somebody like sister. Cause like I've never known you to be like heavy in Spanish.
Well, fun fact, Spanish was actually my first language.
Really?
When I was a child, and then I learned English. English was my second language.
Hey man, your English is really good, eh?
Oh, thank you. But yeah, over the years, you one ends up being dominant over the other, so I was losing my Spanish. So now I'm trying to get them both on par. But what I do is that I do have a Puerto Rican friend that he would always talk to me in Spanish, and so I would talk to him in Spanish too in return, and so we would kind of go back and forth, and he would help me out with that. But with the memes, I send it to him, and I'll ask him, hey, what do you think? Do you think this is funny? Like, does it sound funny?
Yeah.
And he'll help me out sometimes. Sometimes he'll be like, try using this word instead of this word, or you know what I mean, or try wording it like this.
Sure.
And so so he helps me out. He's my lifeline.
He's your He's your fact checker. He's your spell check. There you go.
Yes.
I like that, man. I like that. That's dope. Definitely brings people together from different, nationalities. And dude, that's dope. Yeah. So you're handling the Spanish meme page. You're handling Hero Records page. Now let's get into the story of the Cheese Mafia.
Ah, yes. Cheese Mafia.
Now, this goes back to when, how far back does Cheese Mafia go?
I want to say...
It was ninth grade, right?
Yeah. I believe so.
Ninth grade. We met in 7th, just to recap, if anybody hasn't listened to a past episode. We met in 7th grade. This was 9th grade. This was like the year we were the top dogs in the junior high. And this, let me just preface, because not everyone's junior highs or whatever is the same. So if you're listening, our junior high was set up to where K through 6 was your primary, elementary, however you want to call it. And then 7th, 8th, 9th was its own school in a different building, middle school, and then it was 10th, 11th, 12th. That was our high school years. So in a lot of places I hear that 9th grade is actually integrated with the high schoolers because they have like their own name, like freshmen. So they, freshmen go to the high school building, whatever. But that's not how it was when we were. Is it still like that? I think it is.
No, I believe they changed it only because I have younger cousins and they said that it changed to where they moved it to how it's supposed to be now. So it's elementary is K through 5th, and then middle school is 6th through 8th, and then high school is 9th through 12th.
What? 6th through 8th? Yikes, bro. Okay, I mean that's dope, but like that kind of
technically that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. And I guess because we grew up and it was like set up that way, and it was always set up that way before us. It was just kind of like that was the norm, and we've been always living in the norm, I guess, or living in the wrong.
Yeah.
So now it's set up to where it's supposed to be 6th through 8th, 9th through 12th. Wow. Okay. So anyway, in our 9th grade, we were the top dogs in middle school because that's how it was set up at the time. Even though it's wrong, we were the top dogs, and it was like our middle school kind of like senior. We were the seniors of middle school. That's how it felt. And and then we had I think we established this cheese mafia in the one class where we like pretty much had each other in the same class, right?
Yes, I believe so. And the reason why, actually, I was thinking about it. The reason why is because when we would go to lunch and then we'd go outside, because normally you have in elementary, everybody eats and then you go outside for recess. Yeah, they didn't have a recess for. They had a parking lot.
Yeah, we just had to stand in the parking lot. And we couldn't like go outside of the border or whatever.
Yeah, so we were just kind of there in the parking lot. We were all just socializing. I guess I just let everybody socialize.
That's so dumb to think about now.
And then they were like, "All right, guys, it's time to go inside," and everybody just kind of walked back inside of the parking lot.
Yeah, man, that's so dumb.
When we were there, I remember everybody had their own little like cliques, I guess, like in the lunchroom too.
Yeah, in the lunchroom, I remember. Too. Yeah, and also in the parking lot. But I remember the lunchroom. There definitely was sections of the different cliques, and it was something I even tell people today that when I was in school, for whatever reason, our clique had like just a fluctuation of different people, and then through our known associates, we were like somehow cool with every group.
Yeah,
so we were like an anomaly group. Yeah. I remember I was friend with. I mean, I had friends in every group. I had friends in the jock group. I had friends in the skater group. I had friends in the Mehi crew. I don't want to say anything offensive because I almost said it. Starting with a B. And then there was the weird kids. But they were kind of like, we just kept it cool with them because we know that, to be singled out, whatever. And then sometimes they come with perks, anyway.
Oh yeah.
And then who else was there? Who am I missing?
Yeah, the thugs.
Emo kids, the thugs. Yeah, the gangster crew. Even though it's like dumb to think they were gangster, but they were the hardest. They were like, yeah. And then the black people, the black crew, because they stuck together. That's just what they did, and hey, it is what it is. But yeah, we had friends in all of that.
Oh, there was also a redneck crew. Remember that?
Oh yeah, the country redneck crew. People, Texas hats and trucks and boots and blah blah blah. Yeah, they're cool, but I wasn't like crazy about them.
Well, no, but when we were there, those were all the different tables. Just kind of funny. Like everybody always went to their certain table, and then when we'd go outside, everybody would just kind of like mesh around and stand in a circle, like their own little circles and stuff.
Yeah.
And then so I think that's how we established it, because I think Stevie was like, okay, they have a name, but we don't. And then I was like, do we need a name? And he was like, oh, we need a name. I was like, okay. Like, so what's the name? And he goes, I don't know. Let me think about it. And then sure enough, dude, I think it was either the next day or 2 days later that he walks up to me in the middle of school too, like in between classes, and he ran up to me and goes, yo, the cheese mafia. I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, that's the name. That's the name we're going to use. And then he like walked away. I was like,
that was
what?
it.
Yeah,
like you're supposed to understand it completely.
Yeah. And then so I think at lunch we were talking about it, and everybody was like, dude, yeah, that's so awesome, whatever. And I was like, what? Like,
yeah, it was so like just off the wall. Yeah. And then we started, whenever it started establishing and people were like trying to get in the crew, and like we had that one class where we were just somehow like lucky enough to have together. it was just me, you, and Stevie. But then we started like making friends in the class, and then we started having some females join. And then we're like, okay, well, we're the Cheese Mafia, blah, blah, but we need names. So we started thinking of like cheese-based names that were like cool to us. And crap, I think I remember mine. Do you remember yours?
No, I don't. But you know what's funny? I do remember one time in that class, the one you're talking about, that when the teacher would walk out, Stevie would make a scene to initiate them, and then he would make either you or me get up out of our desk, and then like whoever was trying to get in would sit in the chair. Meanwhile, either you or me would stand in front of the desk, I guess, like keeping a lookout. You know what I mean? Like as a joke. And then after it was done, he was like, "Okay, you can leave now." And then that person would get out of the desk, and then we'd sit down.
Yeah, man. I remember it was an English class, if I remember correctly. Yeah, poor thing, man.
It was funny.
I felt bad for the teacher now, but we sure didn't when we were in school.
Oh, heck no.
Heck no.
But anyway, but apart from that, yeah, that's how it started, and then so we were just kind of making jokes about it, and then I think I don't know how, but word ended up spreading.
Yeah.
And then somebody from another crew was walking past like a couple of us, I think, and then they were like, "Oh, so you guys are the Cheese Mafia?" And I was like, "Yeah,
we are. How do you? How'd you hear?"
Yeah, dude, it was funny. Everybody found out about it eventually, and that's just like what they named it, I guess, or labeled us.
That's just what it was.
We really didn't have a name. Yeah, dude, it was funny.
And then we just kind of stuck with. And then I remember Stevie's name. I think he made his first. He was like, "Dude, I'm the Cheese Father."
Oh, yep.
Like, all right, make yourself boss. That's fine. He was a Cheese Father.
Well, you know what? He did make the name, so I was like, that's cool. You can do it.
Yeah. It was just for our circle, whatever. And I remember, I think my name was Big Cheddar. I think I named myself Big Cheddar. And then, man, I'm trying to think of the girls' names. There was someone that was
Cheese.
I think it was either Chuck E. Cheese. Someone was Little Swiss.
Oh, Sister Swiss. That's what
Sister Swiss. Freak.
I can't remember who it was, but I remember the names.
Yeah. Sister Swiss. Man, I'm trying to remember your name, but I don't remember. Maybe Stevie remembers. That dude remembers so much stuff.
He's got a good memory. We should bring him on the show. We should all talk about Cheese Mafia.
Yeah, man. I told him that that I'm gonna have him on, and definitely, like, if it's with you or our mutual friend Buddy Jack, then what he'll have to do is come here, and we'll do it live, me and him, and then he'll have his own mic and headset, blah blah, and then whatever audio I can hear, like, for instance, this Discord call, he'll be able to hear it and be able to react to it, live with me. But we'd have to figure out scheduling because he's a bit busier than I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely have him on, and we'll get into middle school days, man, and high school days. Talk about funny memories.
Stevie, if you're listening to this, you better be funny, man, because we're hyping you up.
You better be funny. He even told me, he's like, dude, if I come on the podcast, I'm not gonna be able to take nothing serious. I got to make it funny. I'm like, well, I mean, as long as we're not talking about a serious topic and you try to make it funny,
Yeah.
So everything with him, it'll just have to be lighthearted, not too deep.
Yeah, true.
I'm like, reel it back, bro. Reel it back.
Well, actually, speaking of reeling it back, go to the point of this whole conversation.
Yeah,
that was the reason of why we did the whole cheese. And actually, years later, remember, I think it was Stevie again created a Cheese Mafia page on Facebook.
Was it him that started it, or was he the one that was like, dude, we should start a page?
I want to say it was him, but he was like adding everybody back from whenever we were from middle school and stuff. And then we were all kind of like there we were all there in the page for a little while.
Yeah. It was a nice little page for us to just kind of chit chat and man, I remember that we even thought about going out to it's like, dude, we should all like meet up. We should meet up and go like to a nice Italian restaurant and just have a dinner together.
I couldn't even imagine. And you know what? I believe Stevie would go all out too. He'd probably grease his hair back.
Oh, absolutely.
With a tuxedo.
Absolutely, dude. 100%.
Everything. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how we did the meme page. And then so That was years ago though. And then recently I was like, you know what? Like since this page is up, it exists. I was like, you know what? We can make use of it. We can make it as a meme page. I mean, it
Yeah,
was supposed to be a funny group in the first place. You
exactly,
know,
exactly.
so I figured why not just turn it into a meme page? Bring some joy to the world a little bit.
Yeah, man, absolutely, absolutely. And I remember you came to us about it, like, hey man, I'm gonna start a meme page. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, definitely. I mean, who doesn't love a meme? Definitely. I felt bad because I just felt like I can't really contribute to like helping, even though I'm like partly in charge of that page.
No, it's okay, man. I mean, I actually don't mind. It's actually a good experience, and watching the whole thing grow. I mean, it's like a seed. It's like people whenever they plant seeds, and then you're literally watching the little plant grow.
Yeah.
Like how achieved you feel. Your accomplishment.
Sure.
We're doing all that. That's how this feels too. When you see the numbers going up slowly, you know what I mean. For all the people that are checking it out and all that stuff.
Heck yeah. If you're on Facebook or on Instagram, definitely check out these pages, man. The Cheese Mafia. Is it spelled a certain way?
No, this is just the Cheese Mafia.
The Cheese Mafia, Instagram, Facebook, and then the Spanish pages, if you're into that, corresponding, same thing, Facebook, Instagram. Some funny memes. Definitely funny to send to some friends, direct message them, blah, blah, blah. Tag them in it. Definitely. All right, man. So we're talking about passions. I guess I can talk about a little bit how I got onto do podcasting. It's kind of weird.
Yes, please. I've been wanting to know that myself, actually.
Yeah, and then it was funny enough that you told me that you love podcasting. I didn't even know like this whole time.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, it just on a side note. Yeah, as soon as I saw that you had a podcast, I was like, oh my gosh, I hope he lets me on.
I hope he lets me on. Jeez.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I want to be part of the show.
Oh man, well, heck, here we are. You're the first returning guest, and
here we are, man.
Bro, like if I'd have known you were heavy in the podcast and such, like I said, I would have told you first. You know what I mean? Definitely, I was like looking for some support at first for sure, like because it was such a rocky kind of like, man, I don't know if it's gonna work out. It's always that kind of endeavor that like it's kind of like got you unsure. But it ends up being like really cool and fun and stuff.
Yeah, and it's better to try and have nothing come out of it than not try at all.
Yeah, man, definitely. And that was the reason why I did live streaming first. I was live streaming on Twitch, which to me it was just like, yeah, it's fun. I get to entertain people. I get to have conversations and make connections with people all across the globe, which someone even asked me about my last episode. I think my aunt, she asked me, where do you find these people? How do you know these people? Like people from across the UK, blah, 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 Singapore. I'm like, look, that they just know me from when I was Twitch streaming. I don't know what to tell you. You meet people. Friends from Australia. I have friends from Canada, friends from all over the US, UK, Singapore. I'm trying to think of anybody more. I've had somebody that was watching me that was from Germany.
Nice.
I'm trying to think of other notable.
Well, that's awesome about the internet, man. The power of the internet. When you use it for something positive, yeah, it's definitely the world at your fingertips.
Yeah, man. So that was my first endeavor of like putting myself out there, and it was nerve-wracking, man, because I wasn't used to it. Definitely wasn't used to talking to a camera. It was super weird. But I figured I was just like, I'm playing games, might as well just live stream it, blah, blah. And then I got inspired from friends that I watched live stream. But then after a while, I started seeing that, I'm putting up this content and not everybody's, has access to it because Twitch, it's got its own community. And in order to like join that community, you have to make an account. You know what I mean? You have to be there. You have to watch. It's kind of like a process. So it's like, it's not easily accessible to the random person, whatever. So I was just like, well, and I bought some new audio equipment and then I tried it out on stream and I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna lie, it sounds kind of good. It sounded really good. And then people who watched me on the live streaming, they, people would come by and tell me like, man, you have a really nice voice and radio voice and blah, blah, blah. And you should look into this and that. And I was like, well, I don't know, who knows? And then next thing you know, I have this idea of like, man, maybe I should start my own podcast. But then I thought about what would I do with it? What kind of content? Because I would listen to some podcasts and it's very, very niche, very direct on what they're talking about. What, you know what I mean? It's not like, but then I was like, you know what? I'll just talk about my life, man. Because I feel like it's content. And then me knowing different kinds of people, different walks of life, different whatever. And I'm just like, hey, why not? So here I am. I'm making a podcast and talking to friends, and I'm gonna get some family on too eventually. So that'll be a cool experience. My mom wants to come on.
That'd be a good episode. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I told her we'll definitely do it, but I don't know when. She's busy too. She's got a pretty crazy schedule. She right now during the pandemic, when it first hit, she had lost her job, and she started like working on like her arts and crafts stuff, and then like it kind of blew up because people were needing masks and stuff, so she would make masks. And she does like everything, man. She makes custom designs on shirts, masks. She's doing tumbler cups, you know what I mean, doing acrylic pens, all this like dope stuff, man. And she's got like her online web store or whatever. I mean, I don't know the details, but she's always telling me about, I've got this person from here and there, and they want this many cups or this many this, that. And yeah, she's been heavy busy since, and it's kind of sustained her during this whole, like her losing her main source of income. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, this one's better because it's her own business. She can make her own hours.
Yeah. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse because it's like you can make your own hours, but you know, sometimes she's not feeling well, but she has to get stuff done, you know, orders to fulfill. So it's just kind of like, it's kind of give and take.
Yeah.
But I mean, she does it. She loves it. She's got her own like craft room, all these machines and Cricut. I don't know if anybody else listening knows about Cricut, but she's got like all these Cricut machines, printers and vinyls and materials and paints, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But hey, I support her. You know what I mean?
The whole setup, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. But like, same thing with her. You know, I invested in myself. I bought this audio equipment, started learning how I could make a podcast, and then found out how I could do it, how I could record it, blah, blah, blah. I had everything pretty much set up because of my live streaming. And it was a good thing because I learned a lot doing the live streaming. And without that knowledge, I would definitely had a harder time starting this podcast. But since I didn't, I'm chilling, man. Chilling, enjoying knowing what I'm doing and such. And hopefully, you know, people say they enjoy it. So I'll just continue to make episodes. And sometimes it's once a week. Sometimes it's more. Hopefully, you know, to get to the point where I'm doing like multiple a week. It's a dope deal.
Oh, that is, man. Glad you found your passion.
Yeah, man.
We should all we all need to sit down and ask ourselves what it really is that we want out of life. You know, I mean, that's not fair that we should all be work zombies.
Yeah,
there's got to be something that we all like.
There's got to be something that you do outside of work, man. I know that it's tough, but like, man, you gotta live for something. And if you're listening to this and you're just clocking in and clocking out, go home, eat, sleep, shower, whatever, repeat. That's no way to live. That's a good way to waste years. You know what I mean? Because before you know it, it'll be holidays. If you're doing that now, you know, it's June now. If you live that life, I'm pretty sure next thing you know, it's going to be November and you don't even know what you did the last couple months. You have nothing to show for it. So definitely look for something that you enjoy. I mean, it can be as small as, you know, drawing, or like make a goal to read more books. I don't know. That was one goal that I made last year. 2020 was a terrible year, but I made some good of it. I was like, you know what? I want to finish one book. And I'm not even a reader. I don't read books. And it's nothing against it. I'm not proficient at it. I'm not the kind that sits down and reads book, but I found a way. You know, I downloaded Audible, and I was like, you know what? Let me try out listening to audiobooks while I'm at work. You know, and I ended up finishing 4 books.
Audible is a good source, yeah.
Yeah, man, I love it. I like it. But
what books did you read, by the way?
The books I read, kind of vary of kind of like a type. I think the first one was a self-help book. It was it was a short book, but I think at the time I really needed it because I was going through something, and it was called Dealing with Anxiety in Relationships, and it actually taught me why I do some things in a relationship when I'm you know, kind of like in a thing with somebody in a relationship, and like sometimes I would do or act a certain way and not know why, but then that book kind of revealed like, hey, you kind of do that because, you know, blah 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 blah. Yeah, if you have any kind of anxiety, you know, if you're kind of like an overthinker, especially, definitely recommend that book, because it does teach you a little bit, even if it's not all like on the nail. There is something you can learn from it, and it definitely taught me to learn about myself and kind of like, oh, I have that information, I have that knowledge, I can apply it to when I get into a relationship the next time, which it actually did help. The next time I got in a relationship, post reading that book, I got into a relationship with my ex-girlfriend, and I mean, everything was pretty good, man. Everything was solid. I didn't act a fool because of my anxiety, you know, blah blah blah. But that was the first book. First book was Anxiety in Relationships. Second book, I think it was a fictional book, but it had like really good golden nuggets of like, oh, you know, it makes you think. Like it was like life lessons, but like golden nuggets of life lessons. It was called The Man Up the Mountain. It was about these people that go up to this wise man that's at the top of the mountain and they seek wisdom. But yeah, it was a really good book about the people that go up there. I think it focused on like 4 or 5 different people. And then it was just really cool because it talks about the struggle of making the journey and then things you deal with in life, you know, dealing with other people. But then like some of them got to the wise man and it, you know, they told him some really, you know, golden nugget of, you know, information. But then other times it was like the person like learned what they needed to learn just making the climb. And like by the time they got there, they're like, you don't need to learn anything from me. Whatever you needed, you learned on the journey or whatever. And it was just kind of like, whoa, like, dang, like you're right. I don't know. It was a good book. It was a good little entertainment book. And then the third book, I want to say, was it the Star Wars book? Yeah, I think it was the Star Wars book.
What was that about?
So if anybody knows me, anybody that knows me, anybody that don't, I'm really big into Star Wars. I loved Star Wars since the first time I watched it back on VHS tapes, back when that was the only ones available before the prequels.
Which one? Okay, so wait, yeah. So which movie did you first see from Star Wars?
I want to say it was the first, A New Hope.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, at that time it was called A New Hope, because it was a trilogy,
4, right?
Yeah, it was before it was episode 4. Before there were episodes, it was just A New Hope, and then Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi. They weren't episode this and that. So yeah, that didn't happen until the prequels. They're like, oh, this is episode 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6 are the original trilogy. Anyway, so those are the ones I saw first. I love Star Wars, and I've loved all of them. You know, original, prequel, sequel now recently came out. I enjoyed all. I enjoyed them all. I enjoy it because it's just I'm about that universe. Anyway, so this book called Master and Apprentice is really, really good. It's a really good audiobook. I don't know if you want to read it. You can read it. It's probably a good book when you read it too. But The audiobook, the only thing that really sold me is that in Audible, you can like hear a preview of the book or whatever. So I gave it a little preview test. Okay, so this book has like audio, not just the book, someone reading the book. It's not like stale, flat, someone reading the book line for line.
Yeah.
This thing had the freaking music from Star Wars, sound effects from Star Wars, explosions, blasters, lightsabers, blah blah blah, clashing.
You mean like the soundtrack?
Like the whole, like basically it was an ear movie.
Jeez.
They had voice actors. It was the guy reading, but I don't know how he was able to, like, anytime, because it dealt with Obi-Wan and his master Qui-Gon. And if anybody's seen the prequels, we meet them after he's like kind of established as a Padawan learner. He's more like a Jedi Knight.
Yeah, it's episode 1, right?
Yeah,
With
episode
Qui-Gon
1.
and...
Right.
Uh-huh.
But the book deals with when Qui-Gon first starts training Obi-Wan. And the craziest part, let me just, if anybody, I mean, it's not going to spoil anything, but if you're into Star Wars, you know what I'm talking about. The book deals with Qui-Gon, and basically Qui-Gon did not like Obi-Wan. Like, they butted heads a lot. And it was kind of crazy. Like, it's like weird to see that dynamic, because in the movie, they're like, it's very like, oh, okay, you understand it. They flow. They can, they can do what they got to do. They work together well. But that wasn't the case when they first got together. And then the fact that this book is considered canon, like officially, like the story is officially canon. And then like the voice actor or the one reading the book, he would make his voice sound like Liam Neeson, who played Qui-Gon in episode 1.
Yeah.
And also whenever Obi-Wan speaks, he sounds like Ewan McGregor,
Jeez.
who played Obi-Wan in episode 1.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was crazy. It was dope. But yeah, it was such a good book. I definitely recommend it to anybody who likes Star Wars. And if there's any book that you want to listen to Audible, that's the book, man. I'm telling you, you're gonna enjoy it. It's got music, it's got blasters, it's got noises, it's got voice acting, and it really like sucks you in. So yeah,
Jeez.
That was number 3. And then number 4, just because it was one book that I told myself that I wanted to read forever. I heard about it. I've heard, the thesis of it, blah, blah, blah. It was just like, oh, dude, you like video games? You gotta read this book. And this was before the big blockbuster movie came out. It was the movie Ready Player One. First, it was a book, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people had always told me, like, dude, Ready Player One, you gotta read it, man. If you enjoy video games, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I'll read it. But I wasn't a reader. I didn't tell these people, like, yeah, but I don't know. I'm not a reader, so I'm definitely not gonna read it.
Yeah.
So I ended up listening to it on Audible. Dude, there was a lot in there that was like, I mean, due to time and budget and copyrights, there's a lot of stuff that obviously couldn't make the film, which I understand. And everyone will just be like, oh, the book was better. And I'm like, yeah, the book was better because there was a lot more you could put into it without getting copyrights right. Okay.
Yeah.
But the movie did its job. And I feel like comparing the book to the movie, it hit the notes it needed to hit. That's just what I'll say about the movie. I still love the movie. I own it. I definitely was, after I watched it, I was like, dude, that's one movie I definitely have to get in 4K, UHD. You know what I mean? Top of the tops, because it's just a good movie. Steven Spielberg, I thought he did a really good job with that. But the book was pretty wild, man. I mean, there's a portion of it where it gets kind of like, what's the term? Not safe for work.
Jeez. I
mean, not too bad, but I'm just like, wow, he really wrote about that? Like, Jesus. Anyway, those were the 4 books that I read or listened to.
Do you have any more books on your list that you want to look into?
I actually downloaded one that you recommended because I didn't know that you were like really heavy into books also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So one that I actually used a credit on, because if you sign up for Audible, you get like a credit every month to basically get any book for free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have them since I haven't really been listening to any audiobooks. I have like 8 or 10 credits that I can use. I was just like, well, let me get this book right quick. And it was Steve Harvey's book, right? What was it called? Think Like a Woman. No. Think Like a Man, Act Like a Woman.
Oh yeah, Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man. Yes, they made the movie
one.
about that. Remember with Kevin Hart?
See, I hadn't seen the movie either.
Dude, the movie was funny. I mean, it has nothing to do with the book, but
it was just based off of the book.
Is just, yes. So the movie is about different characters that they're friends, you know, and they all end up like intermingling, and then they all have their social life, right, or their dating life. But all of the little like the details in their dating is coming from the book itself. So that's why it's called that, because it's based off of the book, even though it's not necessarily from the
word
book.
for word. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've heard of it, and like I know like there's sometimes like I'll listen to an interview with Kevin Hart, and it kind of like jump started his like movie acting career, right? I could be misremembering.
I'm sure it was one of them, because that movie came out a while back.
Yeah. I think that was one of the first times he was in a film. It was kind of like, oh yeah, he's got some acting chops or whatever. Like he's comfortable in front of the screen or the camera or whatever. Anyway, I'm not sure if it's his first credited movie, but yeah, I hear a lot about that, and I haven't seen that either. So would you say I should read the book first or watch the movie first?
Oh, it doesn't matter. They're not what's the word? They're not necessarily, you don't need to watch one and then read it, or read it and then watch the movie.
So, okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So. You can do either one.
All right. I might just watch the movie and then see how it correlates. The same thing I did with Ready Player One. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's one book I actually thought about today while I was in the shower. I'm like, dude, I totally forgot I had that book. I need to start listening to it, man. Because I feel like Steve
Harvey has good books, man. Steve Harvey has, well, apart from that, he also has other books too. But he's a great author.
Legit. I mean, he's always had wise words to say, so it doesn't surprise me. I mean, those nuggets of knowledge that he spits, like on his show, Steve Harvey show. You know, he would post those videos of his inspirational speeches or whatever he would say to them. I'm like, dude, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah. But yeah, I'll definitely have to listen to that, because I found myself like spending too much time on like Instagram, watching the reels. And it's basically like my version of having TikTok, which I'm not getting a TikTok, but I felt like it's the same, because a lot of the stuff is kind of just copy and pasted over. I mean, so man, I got like those songs and all the little meme songs or whatever stuck in my head now. And I realized that I'm like, you know what? I'm spending too much time on that. I need to read a book, man.
Just read a book.
Read a freaking book that helps your brain, not just drains it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be starting that soon. But yeah, other than that, that's the only other book that I have in my library to listen to. I think I actually have one. I think I have a Kevin Hart book, if I remember correctly.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, I don't really remember what the book was called. Let me look it up. I think that was one that I just kind of stored in my library. And haven't really listened to it.
I feel like books could be its own entire episode, because we're just going off right now.
Yeah. It's called The Decision by Kevin Hart. I haven't listened to it.
Oh, okay.
It's 5 hours and it's almost like 6 hours. 5 hours 54 minutes. Well, basically 6 hours. But that's another book.
Isn't that pretty short for a book?
Maybe. I don't really know. I don't know, like, because I'm not really reading a whole lot of books, so I don't know what's considered long or what's considered short. It's probably like middle, because I feel like that one, I mean, definitely the shortest book I listened to was the one about anxiety and relationships. I think that was only like a 2 or 3 hour book. So this one being 5 or 6, a little jump. I think the Ready Player One was like 12.
Ooh, yeah.
Anyway, all the information's there on Audible. It'll tell you how long the book is and such. I'm just not gonna look at it, because whatever, we're moving on.
Well, if we do ever make an episode about books, Audible, if you want to sponsor it, that'd be cool.
Yeah, let me get a sponsor from Audible. I don't even think they're listening, but it's okay. It's all right. But yeah, man, is there any other questions that you want to ask me?
If what would you ask yourself what would be a main question you would ask yourself if you're trying to find your own passion? If you had to do it over again.
If I had to do it over again, what would I ask myself? Man, that's a tough one.
Like, what do you want out of it? You know what I mean? That's more of what I would ask. I would ask myself, like, what do you want out of anything?
Yeah, because I think with from life, I think because I think with anything that I pursue, that's already a question that I'm already asking myself. So it's never a question of like, am I doing it for no reason? Like, no, I'm always asking myself if I'm doing it, if I'm wasting my time. You know what I mean? But a question that I would ask myself, starting a passion is man, is it gonna be something you want to continue doing? Ooh, I feel that's important because with any passion you can have the sporadic kind of like oh, I want to do something, blah blah, but then like that's just momentarily, it's pretty momentarily. But is it something that you want to come back to? Is it something that you love to do enough for you to be like, that consistency is key. So that if you don't have that consistency, it's gonna fade. It's gonna that glimmer of, oh, it's nice, it's gonna definitely fade. So with any passion, ask yourself, are you gonna want to be consistent at it? Pretty much. Yeah. And it's the same with this podcast, man. I ask myself that, there's times where I'm like, man, I'm so tired, I don't want to, this and that, work on an episode. But man, I actually received a message. I'll post it on my socials soon. I should have already posted it, but man, it was just a really cool message that someone reached out to me and basically said, they weren't feeling good. Like they were feeling down, they're kind of in the dumps. And basically they said, I was feeling sad. I turned your podcast on and heard a familiar face. Not a familiar face. Heard a familiar voice for a friend and said that it cheered them up so much, like so much, just to sit in and listen on the conversation, and basically like said, thank you for putting out this content. And I was just like blown away because I was like, it's just me talking about some bull, you know what I mean? It's just like, that's crazy how
much everybody can affect one another, you know what I mean, without even knowing it, the little things.
Yeah, man. I feel like as long as you're doing something that's not hurting anybody and it's pure, I think it can help anybody. It can help somebody out there.
Yeah.
So absolutely. I'm really appreciative of that, man, because I didn't think it would be to that point to where I'd be helping someone, in their mental state just to listen in. And I'm just like, man, that's dope. That's really dope.
Yeah, that is.
So yeah, if you're going to pursue a passion, make sure your heart's in it. Make sure you want to be consistent at it. Know that it's absolutely going to take some work. It's going to, any passion, you should invest in yourself. It's going to take your time, your energy, your money. And if you're not willing to invest in one of those three, it's probably not going to work.
Yep.
So definitely.
Another thing too is that I'd read that if you do something that you love, it becomes effortless. Whatever it is that you're pursuing, it just becomes so effortless to you because you're doing this for hours and hours, and then by the time you look at the clock, you're like, oh my gosh, 3 hours have passed, 4 hours have passed, and you didn't even know it.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens to us. Even after we're done recording, we'll sit here and chat for hours and such. And that actually happened the last time where we recorded a little bit later and we're like, well, I better go, man. It's midnight. I'm like, oh crap, it's freaking midnight. Let's go to bed, bro.
Yeah.
But I mean, I enjoy having conversation with folk, man. And I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm much of a huge talker, but definitely when you get me on a subject that I know about that I can't talk about, I can kind of go off for a couple minutes 30.
You saying that you're not a talker, but yeah, you have a podcast.
See, and then yeah, basically. That's why I want people to come on so I can interview them and then have them talk.
No.
But I mean, that's what it is. This is the Julz and Gems podcast. You know, enjoy what content I bring you, even if it's me, even if it's not me. Definitely have a variety of just interesting folk that do want to come on and chit chat. And I'm excited for it, man. People are enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Let's just keep it rolling.
Your guests are enjoying it. I speak for everyone.
Yeah, man. And I always ask my guests, even after, I'm like, dude, did you have a good time? Like, was it dope? Like you, oh yeah, man. Wait, when they can come on again? Like, hey, I'm not gonna hold you back.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh yeah, I love it. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up. I feel like that's a pretty solid place to end it right there. We're talking about passions. Just to recap, definitely go after something outside of your normal job, and definitely in this time, this COVID kind of kept us inside. A lot of people started going for arts, crafts, whatever it is. Just go after something. Go after something that makes you happy, that benefits you, that you're gonna do consistently, and just go for it. You know what I mean? You want to add something to the end here?
No, just that, man. Just find something that you love. Find something that you want to do effortlessly. It will come to you. Everybody has something.
Everybody has something that they like to do or want to do. Mm-hmm. Just do it and stand out. You know what I mean? Don't do something just because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, and the easiest thing too to keep track on your progress is little daily goals. That's what I was reading too about. Is that if you set little daily goals for yourself, just saying, I want to do this today, and then I want to do this today, and then I want to do this today. By the time you know it, all of those little baby steps that you were doing for yourself during the week, after weeks pass, you're already climbed an entire ladder.
There you go.
Because you took one step at a time.
You never know, man, unless you start taking those steps. Set some goals, reachable goals, nothing too crazy. I mean, have like a big main goal. This is what I told my buddy. Have a big main goal, but then have those reachable goals. Things that you can do daily, weekly. And then before you know it, months have passed, years have passed, and you're way not the person you were before. Like say it's fitness, say it's, learning an instrument, just go out there and go for it, man. But be consistent, be passionate about it, and know that it's going to take something from you, but it'll be worth it. The more you put into it, it'll be worth it, guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that was the Julz and Gems podcast. We're going to have him back again for sure. Either this week or next week. We'll be on some other topics. I mean, we can talk about books, and things that inspire us. Who knows? Or we can just go back to throwing random questions at each other just for the lulz. I mean, who knows? But until that time, I'm going to leave y'all with some thought, man. Just go out there and pursue that passion, whatever it is. Maybe it's been sitting in the back of your mind. Like, man, maybe I should do it. Maybe I should do it. Maybe I shouldn't. I mean, you never know. Just go for it. Try it out. You might like it. And other people might like it for you or from you. Yeah. Guys, it's been real. This is the Julz and Gems podcast. I'll see y'all next episode. All right. Peace.